An old hunting rifle helped me find my purpose in life, and I'll tell you about it. Roger Shelton was my grandfather. I always called him Aji. Aji was like the prototypical Texan man. He had a big burly mustache. He only ever wore pearl snap shirts. He loved hunting 12-point bucks and riding his horses and smoking cigarettes. And the cigarettes ultimately are what did him in. And the day after he died, his wife told me, "Hey, come out to the house. I want to give you some of his things." And I drove out there to Granbury, sunny day, picked up all his boxes of old pearl snap shirts, and she handed me a 25-06 Remington hunting rifle, which I didn't even know was a caliber that was manufactured in the United States, but she gave it to me inside this yellow leather case. I took it home, stuck it under my bed, and didn't really think about it until 7 months later when it was deer season. I pulled the rifle out from its case and I'm walking through a big open field out on some family land near Hyco, Texas, where he's buried. And as I'm tiptoeing through the field in the early morning before the sun's even up, I'm trying to not make a sound, trying to go unnoticed by the deer. All of a sudden, my heart starts racing because I smell a fire. I'm looking around. I can't see any flames. It's too dark. Of course, I can't see any smoke either. And then finally, I look over my right shoulder. I take a big, deep breath through my nose, and I realize nothing was on fire at all. It was his cigarette smoke still clinging to the leather strap of the rifle. So I kind of laughed to myself. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to sneak up on a 12-point buck smelling like Marlboro Smooths. So I roll over to the truck, shove the rifle back in the case, stick it under the seat, and I drive to the cemetery about 5 minutes down the road. As I'm driving, I'm thinking about all the good memories we had. I'm listening to Willie Nelson, who is his favorite artist. He made sure we had to play that at his funeral. And I get there to where his burial plot is, and all of a sudden, those positive feelings are gone, and I'm immediately angry because where there should have been a headstone, all that I saw was a smooth pile of dirt. No grave marker, no headstone, nothing. So I called my mom. I probably woke her up from, her Saturday morning of sleeping in, and said, where the heck is my grandpa's headstone? Where is Aji's headstone? And she kind of took a second to get her words and said to me something that shocked me entirely. She said, "I paid for the funeral. Somebody else can pay for the headstone." That's when it hit me like a ton of bricks. This rifle that I have that still smells like what killed my grandpa is the only thing he had left to give me. He didn't have enough money for a funeral, didn't have enough money for a headstone, and he wasn't a poor man. He was well educated, he worked hard, but what was left? He missed an opportunity to transfer his values to his children and to me. And instead of leaving a meaningful legacy of the things that were important to him, he left a legacy of financial burden. And of course, I still love my grandpa, but I wish I had more from him. Thankfully, I still do have that rifle, and I keep the case in my office as a reminder that the work that we do isn't just about buying a nicer house or buying a nicer car or helping someone quit their job at 65 and get on Social Security. The work that we do impacts generations, because if we can transform wealth to significance, then the who of you and your family, the legacy of your values and what's important and what's meaningful to you, can be passed down and impact your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren long after you're gone.